Hello, hello, my brothers and sisters. This is Garrett Bake, your brother in arms, and welcome to another episode of The Tactical Businessman. Today, we got another special guest on the show, my brother, Jim Steg. Now, I got to tell you a little story about Jim Steg. First, I'm going to introduce you a little bit to who he is and what it is that he does, but how it was that I met this man. So, Jim is a contractor by trade. He's been building homes since 97 on his own since 2006. Currently owns 3 companies, 2 of them, Steg Custom Homes and Flippin' Extreme. That's right, Flippin' Extreme. So watch out for that one if you're in the Phoenix area. He's going to take over the market. So Jim and I, in common, we both have been through Wake Up Warrior and their program. And I think, do you remember who it was that said, hey, we should get together? Was it Derek?
I think it was.
This is Derek. So you guys remember I had Derek Keller on the show.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, hey, all of these men who have been through this coaching program, we should get together. So he puts me in there, he puts Jim in there, and I didn't know it at the time, but Jim hikes this mountain that's a favorite of mine, Camelback Mountain. You've heard me talk about it before. Here in the middle of Phoenix, yes, it is a mountain. It's a little over a mile, and you're pretty much bouldering right up the mountain. So Jim, for a period of time, was hiking this mountain 3 times a week. And he wasn't just hiking it. Literally at the top, he would do push-ups to Sally, if you know that song Sally. If you don't, look it up. It's quite a fun song, well known in the CrossFit community. And then at the bottom, he does 100 burpees 4 times. So I didn't know this at the time. I show up thinking I'm in good shape, thinking I'm super cool. And here's Jim kind of eyeballing me up and down. And he's got a weighted vest on. And I'm like, who is this guy? So we start going up this mountain, and he literally left me in the dust. Like, I thought I was going to die. And then I thought we were just getting to the top, taking a little break and coming down. No, and he's like, hey, let's do push-ups. And then at the bottom, he's like, let's do burpees. So needless to say, Jim is in incredible shape, and we'll talk more about that here shortly. But I want to introduce to you, audience, Jim Steg.
Thank you very much for having me on. When you hit me up and said, hey, would you be in my podcast? I said, absolutely. No problem. I've done, I'll be starting ours up here soon, but done quite a few. I've done 3 with Tommy Baker, and me and Tommy Baker connect fairly well. You should see him going up Camelback. He's a monster.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
oh, no. Here's another one.
But no, thank you very much for having me on. And I am honored to be here and honored to kind of give you a little insight to my life, where I've been and where I'm going.
Wonderful. So I want you guys to know a little bit. Again, Jim has been in the home building business over 20 years now, on his own 12. And I have had the privilege to see this man in action, and it is amazing. Nothing short of amazing. There's flippers out there. You guys have seen them all. It's like lipstick on a pig, right? You're like, okay, well, I could tell there was red paint here before because I can still see it. But Jim takes a different approach. Literally for him, it's an art form. And I've seen him transform homes to where, like, it's unrecognizable. Currently, you have, 7 projects?
Mm-hmm.
7 different projects that he's working on. And again, just amazing. So if you have a chance, is it Architectural Digest? What's the name of the magazine?
ARA magazine.
ARA magazine. His homes are featured in there. If you're in the Phoenix area, look him up, Steg Custom Homes or Flippin' Extreme, and you will not be disappointed. So enough about his businesses. I want to get into Jim the man. The reason I brought him on the show is because he's got a very unique journey, but not unique to him, just unique to being a businessman in general. And so I want to share his story with you and have you guys kind of see the possibilities that exist for you in your life, even if things aren't quite working the way that you'd like them to right now. So Jim, kind of talk about yourself, like a little bit of background, like where are you from? Where'd you grow up? Like, how was it that you got in the construction business?
I grew up in Orland Park, Illinois. I was born. When I was born, my mom was married to an individual. I think his name was Frank Barish. Never saw him.
Wow.
Because when I was at the hospital being born, he didn't show up.
Wow.
So at 5 years old, I had my mom got together with Rich Stegg, and he adopted me. Grew up in Illinois, very athletic. One thing about my stepdad that was very powerful for me as a young person, I thought it sucked. It was the worst. He made me work constantly. His family was from, they're Austrian German.
Okay.
So they come from the old country, and they were all about work, all about hard work. And I hated it because I was young. I wanted to play with my friends, and he was tough on me. He was very tough. He was very emotional, very physical with me. I love him to death. Everything that happened to me when I was younger, and we don't need to get into anything too descriptive, but I look back on, a lot of people can look back on it and say, oh, that's what ruined me. No, that's what made me. That's
wow.
It. And a couple years back, I went back to him and I said, hey, I have to thank you. Now, it almost put me in the grave, and you'll hear about that real soon. It almost put me in the grave working so hard in my drive, because I'm the individual with my mindset is, you will have to kill me before I quit. I won't quit. And that's my mindset with Kokoro, and that's why it took me 9 months to recover. I completely shut down my adrenal glands, and I had no testosterone in my system. I went balls to the wall 3 days, 3 sunrises, 3 sunsets, no sleep, getting after it. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I went back to him a couple years ago and I said, hey, I got to thank you for something. I mean, he was very physical with me. And I said, I got to thank you for something. He goes, what? And I said, remember how hard you were on me when I was a kid? I said, there was one thing that you taught me that has made me successful in my life. And that's, you taught me, I hated it at the time, but you taught me a work ethic. A relentless fucking work ethic. And I cherish that, because I could have taken that and everything that happened to me as a kid, and I could have spun it a different way, and I could have been a victim.
Right.
So I turned it into something powerful and said, okay, this works. This, holy shit, this does work.
Right.
So that's why for me to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and do Camelback, I told my wife the other day, that's the easy part.
Right.
That's easy. I don't have a problem with that. I grew up in Illinois, just like an average kid, crazy. Did a lot of sports, played basketball, played a lot of hockey. I was a fighter when I was a kid. I fought every single hockey game. I did a lot of that in high school too. It was, back in 1983, we graduated, me and all my boys, and football was the big thing. We moved out to Arizona in 1979. My dad was a builder, so our family has been into the building,
all right,
construction industry all of our lives. So I used to go to the job sites with my dad and pull wire and just kind of hang out. Did I really learn anything? No, I didn't. I was working. I graduated high school. I was working for a big company here in Arizona, UPS. I worked for UPS for 19 years, and an unfortunate thing happened with them where I built my team. We were the second best team in the nation.
Wow.
My group. It took me
all of UPS.
It took me 10 years to build that group of people. And that's where my speaking started, my motivation started. That's where I started to perfect me being able to get people to do things that they didn't think that they could do by getting into their head, right, and motivating them. I love that. I've coached volleyball. I coached soccer. Every single team that I've coached, we went to the state championship, no matter what it was. I've never played soccer, but it's my drive to help these kids and to help people and to get people to do things that they didn't think that they could do.
I'm going to pause real quick. Like, if you guys are on Facebook, go look up Jim Stegg, and you'll see, like, daily this man posts videos. And it's not about, like, he's not sitting on a stage in a 3-piece suit, like talking about all these like theories when it comes to motivation and drive and performance. He's literally on the mountain or at a job site, or he's somewhere skydiving. He's
jumping out of a plane.
Jumping out of a plane. He's always doing something, but if there's a purpose behind it, and you'll hear this as you watch his videos, you'll see this as well. So you spend 19 years at UPS.
19 years
what,
at
what
UPS.
happened?
They came to me one day and said, a couple of your guys are cheating on the numbers. And
Ooh.
I'm a documentation freak.
Right.
I have the only guy at UPS that have a trophy case in his office. We had trophies. We were winning stuff all the time. And it's my people.
Yeah.
It's not me. Kind of is me. I'm leading them. But it's my people. I had great, loyal, just amazing people. And they came to me and said, your guys are cheating on the numbers. Well, there was a whole spin on that. There was some other guy who was trying to divert attention because he was sleeping with one of his employees. It was a shit show. And so anyways, I said, no, we're not. Tell me what the problem is. And so they did. And they said, well, you got this, you're leaving stuff out here. I go, okay. I open up a binder and I said, you talking about this? You talking about the emails that I'm sending over here to him and telling him to clean up his shit? Because we'd come in and clean up we'd come in and start our operation, but the individual before me would be leaving stuff out there. And I told him, Dave, if you don't clean that shit up, I'm going to charge you hours.
Right.
So I would verify with him, charging hours. And he claimed ignorance and said, no, he didn't charge any hours. But long story short, I told them I proved it wrong. For them to charge those hours wouldn't even move me 1/50th of a click of production. It had nothing to do with anything. It's insignificant.
Right.
And I said, if you take them, you're taking me. And I said, well, we're taking you too. Okay, cut me a check. So April 1st, 2002, I'm out. That right there catapulted me. Instead of, like my childhood, instead of using that as something negative and spending money on lawyers to come back and sue, I said, I'm going to look at this positively. April 1st of 2002, by May 30th of 2002, I had my builder's license and I had my real estate license. My first year in real estate, I sold $14 million in real estate. I had no clue what I was doing, but I was so angry. I was so mad, and I still get fired up about it because that did something for me. That gave me inspiration. That anger fueled my ambition. And I said to myself, if I put in 1/10 of the effort out on the street as I did with that, how much I gave that company, and it's sad because they have no clue what they lost.
Right.
And that's what I did. I hit the ground running, and I worked a ton, a lot. And it almost put me in the grave. It almost caused me a divorce because that's all I did was I worked. And my excuse was I have to work because
Right.
I was so caught up with it. I have to work to support my family.
Mm.
I hit the market at a great time.
So if you remember back in 2002, 2003, the market's like it's skyrocketing, right? It
it's starting to
didn't peak
go.
until 7 or 8.
Yeah.
But so you use this negative situation, right? And I want you guys to see this because, like, let's be honest. You could be like Jim and be the man who documents everything, has all his ducks in a row, everything's in order, and there's still going to be somebody who's going to try and screw you over. If it's going to benefit them, they're going to try and screw you over. So for those of you who still work for somebody, like, understand this. You work for somebody, which means you're an asset that can be replaced, period. And so this happened to Jim, and what did he do? He said, okay, again, you have two options on life. Why me, poor me, or more me? And he chose the latter. What is it that I can do in 2 months? I can get my builder's license and my real estate license. For any of you who ever tried to get your real estate license, which I had for a period of time, 2006, 2007, it was damn difficult. And that's not including the builder's license. Mm-hmm. So in 2 months, you had both of those. And in 1 year, sold $14 million worth of real estate.
I was rookie of the year at Prudential Real Estate.
Basically, because you said, I'm going to do this.
Get out of my way.
Exactly. And so he used this anger, this at the time, right, as his motivating factor. And you'll soon find out that anger is not his motivating factor anymore. But at the time, it was. Mm-hmm. Like this was something you're like, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to prove you wrong. And boom, that work ethic that had been instilled upon you when you were a child, you said, let's go do something with it.
Yeah.
So you start building your business. And let's back up a little bit. We never talked about married or kids or anything like that. So at this point, what's going on in the personal life?
I've been married with Teresa, my lovely wife, since 1993. We were dating since 1988.
Wow.
And so we've been together for a long time. And we have, at that point in time, I have 2 daughters. I bought a home back in 1989, a HUD home, my first home, sold that. I bought 3 acres. And while I was working for the company, and I built my first home. That was my first custom home that I built on 3 acres.
Was your own?
2,400 square feet. And I rodeoed back then. I rode bulls for 9 years. I welded.
I did not know this.
You didn't know that?
This is awesome. Jim Steg bull rider. And I could see it. Like, that's the coolest part. Like, I can totally see you riding bulls.
What I did was I welded up my own arena and 2 acres of pasture. I'll show you some pictures here.
Okay.
I got pictures of me. 2 acres of pasture. I welded up my own buck and chutes. I didn't know how to weld. I just picked it up and wire feed welder, and I started welding. I had nine bulls in the backyard. I had lights. There would people be lined up and down Bethany Home, 185th and Bethany Home, and we'd ride bulls. And I did that for 9 years, traveling on the weekends. Gallup, New Mexico, Albuquerque, New Mexico, California, Colorado, Arizona. Did a bunch of stuff with a bunch of guys. It was fun, and that's full-blown adrenaline.
Oh, I can imagine.
Oh yeah, just I played a little bit of college football. I played high school football. That was my fullback and middle linebacker. That was my gig, and I got hurt so much more riding bulls than I did playing football. But so they let me go. I was on fire. I was angry. I worked my ass off, and all I knew was, I got to keep working. I got to work. I got to work. And it was a lot of pressure on my marriage. And I didn't care. And I was like, no, I need to work. And this is, you either do it my way or the highway. So I was a different individual back then. I had a wall up all the time. My business model was, how much money can I take out of your pocket and put in my pocket? I'm going to be a savvy businessman. I'm just telling people what they want to hear. I was basically not telling the truth at all, just blowing through people left and right. And it was all about, I got to take money out of your pocket and put it in mine. That's how I ran my business. So, and although I was very successful, but it was during the boom.
Exactly. So I want you guys to see this. Like, how many times have you been in your business or in a place where your primary motivation has been money? Like, I've been there numerous times. In fact, for most of my married life, that's what I chased, was money. And so just like Jim, I would be like, got to work some overtime. Got to work some off duty. Got to work. In fact, I actually don't think I've shared this with anybody just because I forgot about it. I started a landscaping business on the side while I was working at the police department. Like, literally, I would work from 6 a.m. to about noon doing landscaping. I would go home, shower, change, and then from 2 to midnight, I would work my regular police gig.
Really?
And this was a couple-year process. But again, it didn't matter how much I worked. I never had enough money, so I always wanted more of it.
Yeah.
So you go through this period of time. Oh, hold on. He's showing me the picture. I wish you guys could see this. This is like epic. The bull up on his front.
His ass is by the back of my head.
Oh,
He's standing on his nose. That was up in Flagstaff. In 1995.
Oh, my goodness. This is legit.
I think I rode him for like 80 points, something like that.
I'm going to get a picture of this and post it so you guys can see this. But it's insane. So at this time, see what's going on in his life. He's chasing adrenaline. He's chasing the almighty dollar. He's chasing all of these things that in the end, really run out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the one thing that never runs out, which is your family, if you take care of them right, that was slowly dying. So you get to this point, like what was going on? What actually brought on the conversation of divorce?
It was just constant fighting. I was working constantly,
Like how many hours a day were you working?
all day, sun up, sun down, just nonstop, just digging in. And then I work out too. So I was always doing my stuff. And back then I was doing a lot of Ironman triathlons too. I did Ironman from 2000. I started running heavy in 2001. 2001 to 2010, I did probably 120 Olympic triathlons and 4 Ironmans. 2 Arizona 2005, 2008, and Coeur d'Alene 2009 and 10. And that's all I did was work and work out. And it was just me and Teresa were fighting all the time, and it just wasn't working. I was an asshole. I really was. I was a prick.
Yeah.
I was tough to work for because I was pointing the finger at everybody else but me.
Right.
Pointing the finger at why the kids wouldn't show me enough love. I'm giving them all this money. I'm pointing fingers at Teresa and doing all this. And I finally got to a point where we were fighting cats, and I mean, just it was nuts. I'm punching holes in the walls. That's how bad it was. Just, you know, it was bad. I can't even explain how bad it was. It got to the point, and Garrett has a video. Jeremy came out to Arizona, and he did a case study on me, and I have that, and Garrett uses a lot of that, uses that video quite a bit in his marketing
This
stuff.
is Garrett White, not me, Garrett.
Yeah, Garrett J. White, which a guy that I love dearly. I love him to death. He actually made me see he helped me see the light.
Right.
And so, you know, I started watching Facebook. I had a buddy of mine that used to work for me back in I think the late 90s, and he was on Facebook, and I'm going, dude, you look like you really got your shit together.
Yeah.
AZ Arajo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that AZ used to work for you.
He worked for me. He came in, and he was doing so well at unloading the trucks. I said, hey, you want to be a supervisor? He goes, yeah. So he came in and interviewed with me, and I promoted him, and he was one of my supervisors, one of my best supervisors.
Wow.
So we go long way back. So I started following him. I reached out to him. He was bringing his daughters over, and I was working with them one-on-one. I was running a volleyball club, and I was working with them in our volleyball camps one-on-one, teaching them fundamentals and body positioning, foot stance, arm position.
And they still do volleyball.
Absolutely, they
Oh,
do.
my goodness. Hey, you guys haven't met AZ yet, but he will be on the show shortly. But so anyway, what I want you to see, like let's backtrack a little bit. Like, see where the point that Jim was at in his life. And this is hard for all of us, right? Is to go back into the places we don't want to go, like the painful memories. Because I tell you with 100% certainty, like this man has no negativity in his life anymore. He has no anger. He has no hatred. Like he's literally full of love and motivation. I mean, it is absolutely insane. But back then, very similar to a lot of you, right? We think that investing in ourselves, i.e. working out more, investing in work, i.e. working more, is the way to get more out of life. And to a certain degree it is. But what is the ultimate cost of that, right? And so for Jim and for me as well, like we'd work out and we'd work, although I didn't do 100 triathlons. I can't say that. I'm not anywhere close. Or ridden bulls. Can't say that either. But what I want you to see is like we start to chase these things that we think will bring us satisfaction and joy and make us feel whole. And then we go home to the ones that really do make us feel satisfied and content and whole, and we start to collide with them and argue and fight.
Mm-hmm.
So you come to this point where like it's just not working, and you're like,
it's blowing apart. It's crazy. It's a shit show. She's cheating on me. I'm cheating on her. It was a shit show. I hate saying that, but it's the truth. I got to be truthful. And it was to the point where I got to a point, phone's ringing off the hook. She's out of town. We're fighting like cats and dogs. And I wanted to commit suicide. I go, you know what? My mindset was so stupid and so off that I said, okay, I'll kill myself. That'll show her.
Yeah. So I'll win.
Yeah.
This is the ultimate like ace card. Like, boom, I win because I kill myself.
So little did I know at that point, she is so done with me. She's like, whatever. She would hate to see that happen, but she's like, oh, fuck, she told me later, oh, fuck, I'll move on. Whatever.
Yeah.
What I was that much of an asshole.
Wow.
And you know what? And I see this in men every single day because I work out in the public. And it's like, dude, you just need to you just need to wake up, man. You just need to fucking drop the wall. Quit being an asshole. And the reason why you're thinking everybody is screwing you over is because you're screwing everybody over.
Yep.
The reason why you think people are lying to you is because you're fucking lying to everybody.
Yep. Exactly.
People just don't, guys just don't get that. And they won't get that until they drop it and love who they are. They have to do that. If you don't do that, dude, you're done.
Right. So what was your moment? Like, you're at wit's end, you're contemplating suicide.
I'm about to blow my brains out. I truly thought about it. I got up, started walking to the bedroom to get the gun, and I fucking broke out in a sweat. I was like, oh, I got real scared.
Yeah.
Like, really? I'm going to do this? I was like, nah, I don't need to do that. I backed up. I called AZ. I said, dude, I got to talk to you. I got a problem. I got some issues. He said, don't do anything stupid. Come in and talk to me on Tuesday. He goes, I'm over at Empire, which that's what Garrett used to call our meetings that we would go to from 2000. I was with Garrett from 2015 to 2017. And I said, okay. So I went in to see him on Tuesday.
So what was he doing at this time? So he used to work for you, but what was he doing now?
He was running his own real estate business.
So he went from being an employee to running, not just being a real estate agent, but running his own business.
He did a couple of businesses before that.
Right.
And
So
then he got into real estate.
And I don't want to spoil his story because he'll be on the show, but he is now at this good place.
Oh, yeah.
And you've seen this.
Yeah.
And so you're like, if I'm going to reach out to anybody, it's this guy. I trust him.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, hey, I'm doing this thing right now, but we'll meet up. So what happens?
I go over and talk to him on Tuesday. I tell him my story, and he tells me his story. And or he told me his story first, and then I said, tell me a little bit about you, and I haven't seen you in a long time. You know, we hugged, and, hey, I haven't seen you for 10 years or whatever. And he said, he looked at me after I told him my story, and I thought I was in the right.
Right.
I think I'm the man.
Yeah.
My wife's all screwed up. My kids are all screwed up.
Yep. And
he looked at me, and he goes, you don't mind if I use profanity, do you?
No.
He said, dude, you're fucked up. I go, really? He goes, yeah. I respected his opinion. So he goes, you need to call Garrett.
So here you have this first man who told you, like, the truth, but not just told you the truth and said you're messed up and, like, we're not going to do
He was
anything.
deliberate.
Yeah. And he's like,
he didn't give a fuck what I thought. He's like, you're fucked up.
Yeah. And then he's like, not only, like, he's not doing it to try and, like, make you feel
No.
bad or point the finger or anything.
No.
He's literally, here's where you are, which is where I was at. You need to call this guy.
Yeah.
So you call Garrett.
I walked outside, called Garrett. He answered his phone. Back then, I don't know if he'd answer his phone now. He's so busy.
Yeah.
But he answered his phone, and we got into talking. He goes, I tell you what, I'm going to call you back next week on Thursday or whatever. We had a time to talk, and he called me back. I remember exactly where I was sitting. I was doing some work, doing an audition for a professional baseball player, a client of mine out in Paradise Valley, sitting in his driveway. Garrett said he'd call me at 1 o'clock on a Thursday or whatever. 102 or 101, 102, 103, 104. He called me. He goes, are you ready to talk? I go, I was ready at 1 o'clock when you told me you were going to call me. He started laughing. So we got into talking, and he told me everything that I was. He didn't even know me. He just said, tell me a little bit about yourself. I did. And then he started telling me, just going through identifying the type of man that I am. And I'm like, how the fuck do you know that?
Right.
So Garrett's a special individual.
He is.
That's why he's the man. So I went to Warrior, and he showed me the tools that I needed to use. And just like with anything, if you don't work out, you're not going to get fit.
Exactly.
If you don't use those tools in the gym, you're not going to get fit. If you don't use the books to help your mind, you're not going to get fit in your mind. You're not going to get smarter. You're not going to. So you have to use what he's he's prophesizing about, what he's talking about. So I took what he had to offer, and I applied it. Now, shit didn't change overnight.
No.
First night back, and you'll see it in the. Have you seen our video?
Yeah.
Me and Teresa's video.
Yeah.
I get back and I'm like, okay, I'm changed. Teresa's like, fuck you.
Yeah. She's like, how many years have we been married? And,
Yeah.
and how many times have I heard this?
You went to this Garrett J. White thing, and now you changed. And oh, okay. We've been doing, because we were in and out of counseling.
Right.
And I would look at the counselors and go, who are you? Very arrogant.
Right.
Who are you? I could counsel you all day. Dude, we don't need to. I don't need to sit in here with this Yahoo.
Yep.
So I started to apply those things. Our first night back, I brought her flowers. Went out to eat. Had a couple of bottles of wine, and I said, I've changed, and she's like, no, you haven't changed yet. I was pissed.
Right.
It was our biggest fight ever that night after Warrior, first night back.
After you come back, like from this experience that has literally transformed you and the way that you see and think.
Yeah.
Biggest fight. On
fire. I get home, and my young Emma Lou, my dog, she ate my journal. So I'm a freaking raving lunatic. Woke up the next morning, me and Teresa looked at each other and went, what the fuck happened? That was crazy. So fast forward. It took her about 6 months and me about 6 months of applying certain things, dropping my wall, understanding other people, loving people for who they are, not what I want them to be. And it takes work. You can't just get it overnight. You have to apply yourself. That's like with Camelback. I want to get below 22:14. That's my fastest time. That shit's not going to happen overnight.
No.
I got to put in a lot of work. I've got to, there's.
Well, listen, like this is what I want to point out to the guy, to you that are listening right now. Like he's talking a lot about work, but I want you to understand he has a foundation that he's built the work upon. Like working just to work will get him what he had before, which was on the edge of divorce and contemplating suicide. But work built on a foundation, i.e. a tactical approach to life, because what you learned were all these tools that you could implement and tactically get what you wanted. You want a better marriage? Cool, do this. You want more money? Cool, do this. You want a better body? Cool, do this. Just like going to the gym, just like Camelback, like you can't just go out and just like balls to the wall when you start running Camelback. Like you're literally going to kill yourself. Like there's an approach to it.
There's more than just the physical of everything.
Right.
With your relationship, with your business, physical meaning things you do. There's so much to it. I mean, there's meditation that comes into play. There's mindset. There's how you operate, how you talk. The way I operate and the way I talk now and communicate to my clients, to my family, to my daughters, to my wife, it's night and day. And there's a lot of guys that I tell this where I was and where I am now. They're like, how did you do that?
Right.
That's like insane.
Right.
You just have to say, okay, drop the wall. Love. I have to first, if I want to love my wife and I want to love what I do, I have to love myself first.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And if you don't do that, and people might be saying, well, what do you mean by loving yourself? You really have to love, honor, and appreciate who you are and believe in what you offer the world.
Yes.
If you don't and you question that, you can't offer anybody anything. You can't love other people until you love yourself. Truly.
Right.
Am I perfect? Absolutely not. I got a long ways to go. But from where I came from, that was a mess.
Right.
I really was.
So what you started to do then is you started to invest in yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, and he's talking about this, like the meditation, the body, everything that we're talking about. You had to invest in yourself in order to invest in your marriage, invest in your business, invest in everything else in life.
It's like when you're in the plane and they go through that you need to put your oxygen on first before you do your kids. There's a reason for that.
Exactly.
You have to take care of yourself first before you can take care of anybody else. Right. And I'm a firm believer of that. I went back in my phone. I don't know. I was running through some stuff, and I'm a documentation freak. And I went back, and it was some notes from like the beginning of this phone. And I was looking and I was taking notes on my wife of all the shit that she didn't do.
Wow.
I started crying.
Mm.
I thought to myself, are you kidding me? You're pointing the finger at her because of that shit?
Yeah.
Get your ass in the kitchen and do the dishes. Get your ass to make the bed. Get your ass to do the clothes. Help her. She's not a slave of yours. She's not there as a
Right.
wife to do your fucking laundry and to cook the food. You're a partner. You're partners together.
I love
I'm
this.
looking at this. I'm going, I sent it over to her. I go, can you believe this shit? I was an asshole.
Yeah.
That was crazy. So, but a lot of guys can't figure that shit out. You just gotta drop the wall. You gotta drop the wall, and you gotta start. You gotta love and honor yourself.
Right. I love that. So, like, I want you guys to hear this. Literally, the key to more sex is to do what?
You gotta-
It's to invest in that other person.
yeah, and
Like, instead of pointing the finger, you're like, what can I do to build her up? What can I do to create more of her? Because if there's more of her, guess what? Then you're going to have more of a connection.
if you want more sex, stop focusing on the sex.
Ooh, say that again. Say it again.
If you want more sex with your wife, stop focusing on the sex. Start focusing on accepting her for who she is and loving her for who she is and doing things out of the ordinary to surprise her. Sticky notes all over the wall, bringing home flowers once in a while, surprise going to a concert, dancing. My wife loves to dance. She had the best time last weekend when we were at a wedding dancing, and we got a wedding tomorrow night also, so we'll be up there country dancing and swinging, and she absolutely loves that. At that point, I don't even have to ask or even think about it. It happens.
Wow. There's the secret formula. All right, all you guys, get off this podcast and go do.
Stop thinking about sex. It's the worst thing you could think about.
Exactly. And the interesting thing, though, is we can apply that to everything else. You want to make more money, stop thinking about money. Like, you're literally investing in your clients, you're investing in your business, you're investing in yourself. And guess what happens when you do all that? It's more money. So let's kind of bring it back to business a little bit, right? So we talked about your marriage. Actually, let's close up marriage. Like, where are you guys at today compared to where you were when you were thinking about putting that gun to your head?
It was, she didn't trust me. I didn't trust her. You know, about a week and a half ago, about 2 weeks ago, we sat on the back porch, on the back patio, and girls are up at college, up at NAU now. I got a junior, Kayla, and a senior, Riley, beautiful daughters, incredible athletes. I didn't mention them. They are just amazing women, beautiful, and they were getting letters from colleges, and they decided not to play volleyball, but they're very, very intelligent, incredible athletes. And so we were sitting on the back patio a couple weeks ago, had a bottle of wine, just talking through some things and communicating about how to grow her business with incorporating her business with my business.
Wow.
She's an esthetician and videos. And I'm always telling it, babe, you gotta do videos. You gotta get it out there. You gotta talk about things. You gotta declare your goals out there in the world because it holds you accountable.
So listen, like, this is the difference. So when you were at the lowest of lows, would you even have contemplated giving her any support in anything that she was doing?
No, she would come to me I wouldn't even think of having her give me advice about my company. I'm like, what the fuck do you know about construction? Now I go to her. If I have a situation, I ask her opinion. And her opinion is pretty amazing. It's like, holy shit, because she's my regulator.
Right.
She's my governor on that gas pedal, like hauling ass. She actually talks me back off the ledge and says, listen, you got to think about this, this, and this, and you're thinking this way about that person, and it's probably not that way.
Yeah.
And she's right all the time.
All the time. Whoa. And see, here's the coolest part. Like, how many of you men know that your wife is right all the time and you still refuse to acknowledge it?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
But here's the deal, right? And so his relationship has come full circle. But what does that have to do with your business? So what happened with your business? So you started focusing on her and making sure that she was taken care of and investing in her. What happened with your business?
If you don't have a strong foundation at home, I can't build a strong foundation out in the field.
Wow.
That's a good.
That's
good
another
little
good
analogy. I'm a builder. I'm true. That's true 100%. I can't operate out in the field. I can't run my business effectively if I am not solid at home. It just doesn't happen. I remember going home and I'm thinking, fuck, I got to go home again. I got to deal with this bullshit. You're always thinking about it during the day. And it's just not very productive. With us changing our relationship, it really wasn't her. It was all me. And me changing the way I operate, the way I talk to her, the way I treat her, the way I acknowledge her. That created such a great bond between us. We've been married now for 25 years and together for 30. And time has just flown by. I can't believe I'm saying 30 years. Holy shit. But I couldn't run my business the way I'm running it today if I didn't have a solid relationship at home. The numbers tell itself. I got 3 different businesses. We'll do over 5 million in gross revenue this year. Next year, I'm shooting for right around 7 to 7.5. And I love what I do, and it's me having a great relationship with my wife helps me out in the field. It really does.
I love that you said that, because if you guys remember when you first started talking about business, it was about how can I take money out of your pocket? And now it's about I love what I do.
Our business model now is we don't work to make money. We work to make a difference. If you take care of people, if you take care of your wife, if you take care of your kids, if you take care of your business and you take care of your people in your business and you don't focus on money, you focus on making a difference, the money is a byproduct of the work that you do.
The money is a byproduct of the value that you create for other people's lives.
Absolutely. Now, is every job perfect? Absolutely not. Not everything's perfect. But I tell you, we do whatever we got to do to make our clients 100% happy, get them videotaped client case study at the end of the project. Kim's going to be doing one here soon for RL. I got lunch with her at 2:00. Just a great individual.
Yeah.
So it's all about taking care of people. There is no better way not to get money than focusing on money. If you focus directly on making money, there's no better way not to get it.
Wow. So I want you guys to see this. We all as men have 2 basic needs, right? We want to get paid and we want to get laid. And the funny thing is that the way to get more money and the way to get more sex and more connection is actually not focusing on those things. Mm-hmm. It's focusing on bringing value to everyone in that relationship. So Jim has got 3 businesses, and he just told you $5 million gross. He's looking to increase that by 50% in 1 year. Like, the money is coming because of how he invests. And I want to talk real quick before we're done. I want to talk about some of the ways that he's investing in other people that are around him. So Jim, let's talk about a couple of those things. What is it that you're doing? You're involved with an organization called CASA, right?
I will be raising some money. I'm going to do the 11 summits, Flagstaff and Phoenix. We're going to do I'm going to set it up, and we're going to do the Fearsome 4 up top. I did it with Eddie Aguilar earlier this year. I think it was late August. I think it was 11,000 feet, 33 miles. We did that in 1 day. And then what I'm going to do in the spring, Eddie will be involved in it also, but I'm going to promote this here real soon and start raising a bunch of money for these abused kids. We're going to do the 4 up in Flagstaff and right back to back. It took us 19 hours last time with travel time. We're going to go back to back, and we're going to come back down, and we're going to do the 7 summits in Phoenix. and it'll be a little warm, a little cold up top, little warm down here, but we're going to do it back to back. That'll be about 50 miles, and it'll be a little over 20,000 feet, and that'll be back to back.
For those of you that don't understand that, he's basically going to climb 11 mountains as quickly as he can. 20,000 feet of elevation. And he's not, this is the other cool thing. Like, you remember he said he's done 100 triathlons. And who did you do those for?
Myself.
For yourself. And now you're going to be climbing 11 mountains as quickly as you can for who?
Other people.
For
to
other
raise
people.
money to help other people.
Right, to help abused kids, this
Yep.
organization called CASA. So Jim recently wrote his first book.
Yes, sir.
So talk about your book a little bit. I love the title of this book.
Chopping wood.
You guys can't see it if you're watching this, though. You can. The title of his book is Chopping Wood, and he's got a little subtitle, An Old School Mentality in a New Age World on How to Get Shit Done. So talk a little bit about your book. Like, why'd you decide to write a book, and what was it that you ended up putting into this book?
The reason why I wanted to write this book was I feel that I have a lot to offer a lot of people from where I came from to where I'm at right now. And my quote on that is, it's very simple, but it's not easy.
That's right.
So it's all about the reason why I did this, because I know and believe that I am a hard worker. I don't think there's anyone that I know that will outwork me.
Right.
At 53 years old, I feel I'm in pretty good shape, and mentally,
I'll vouch for that.
mentally and physically, my ability to get past that pain, to recognize the power on the other side of that pain and the freedom outside of that pain. That's kind of the way I live my life. And what I did was I just wanted to go through here. I started this back in early 2017. I just didn't have the time to write it. And then I hooked up with a guy by the name of Mike Fallett. Great guy. He helped me get this done in 4 weeks.
Wow.
So anybody out there that wants to write a book, I would look that guy up. He's a genius. He's really, really good, very reasonable on price, and helped me understand the process of doing my own book. But in this book, kind of gives you an idea of some things that are 19 things that are very important to me on how I was able to transition myself from back then to now, and what I had to do to get where I'm at right now. And I wanted to get people to understand that and try to help other people to say, hey, listen, it's really not that tough. It's pretty simple, but it's not easy. You have to chop wood. And I call working your mind and working your body and working your relationship with your family, with your kids, with your wife, I call it chopping wood. Because if you think what a lumberjack does, you don't just knock the tree down with one blow of the axe. To get that oak tree down, you got to continually swing that axe and swing that axe and swing that axe. And you're not going to drop that tree with one blow of the axe. You've got to relentlessly chop wood every single day. If you don't, that's the problem with our society right now, in my opinion, is that when people run up to that pain cave, or they're up to that, they're like, oh, that's going to be too tough. They back away from it.
Right.
But what they don't understand is there's freedom and there's
On the other
pleasure
side.
on the other side
Yeah.
of that pain.
Yeah.
Like I talked about this morning,
Right.
when we were on the mountain, you just got to break that ice. I call it breaking the ice. And that's when I first start running. It's like, that's the toughest part. I got to break the ice. You just got to get past that pain, and then all of a sudden it becomes easy. Once you start getting used to the pain, it becomes easier. It's like skydiving. That first time, my ninth jump out of the plane, I was the last guy in the plane. It's like, oh, shit. I thought I was going to die. I was going to ride the plane down. Once I got past that, the next jump was easier. The next jump's easier. You still think about it.
Right.
But it's all about chopping wood. And it's all about me and my wife. It's all about me and my kids. It's about skydiving for the first time, how I felt, how I got past that fear. I was crying, getting ready to jump out of that plane.
Yeah.
I was so scared. I thought I'm never going to see my wife and kids again. That chute opened and I screamed. I bet you the pilot heard me screaming when he was like a mile away. I was just, it was fun writing this book, and it was an experience. And I think I got 15 things in here where 15 chapters on certain things that are important to help people become successful. And dude, I'm just an average guy, man. The thing that I rest upon is my work ethic. And if you're not afraid of hard work, there is nothing that you can't do in this world. You can do anything you want to do. You just got to bust your ass. You can't be afraid of hard work.
Right.
And it's as simple as that.
Right.
Drop the bullshit cover.
Drop the mask.
Drop the mask. Take down that wall. Love, honor, and appreciate others and yourself. And love people for who they are, not who you want them to be, and let everybody in. I used to never let anybody in. And work your ass off. Chop wood, man. That's really all it's about.
So if they want to pick up a copy of this book, Chopping Wood by Jim Stagg, where can they go?
Just go to Amazon. It's a bestseller. We got it to bestseller status.
I like it.
Uh-huh. And go to Amazon and just put in Jim Stagg Chopping Wood, and it'll pop right up.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, I kind of want to wrap things up. Again, Jim, thank you for coming on the show. I mean, literally, this is what I want you to know. This is a conversation. Hey, Jim, I want you to be on my podcast. He's like, okay, date and time, and I'll be there. Like, that simple.
I got a book for you.
Yes.
Chopping Wood book.
Yes.
And I got you a Stagg Custom Home shirt. We got new sayings on the back. Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
There you go. Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Thank you for having me on
Beautiful.
your show, bud.
So listen, like, what he has in his life, I know some of you are shaking your head going, how is it that he got to where he is? But it's literally, he took a tactical approach to life. Like, he knew what he wanted. He wanted more connection. He wanted more purpose. But there's a process to that, right? If you want to learn this process, there's a way for you to do that. There's an experience. It's called the Tactical Business Experience, right? This will be in Phoenix here at the end of the month. So go to thetacticalbusinessman.com. You can learn more about it. You can hear some testimonials from some of the men that I've had the privilege of coaching. But listen, there is a way to get more out of life, and that's investing in those around you. So if you do nothing more than listen to this podcast, invest in those around you, your loved ones, your employees, the significant others that you have, and watch how your life will change. Jim, again, thank you for that. For those of you who are listening, as always, stay safe, and we'll see you on the next one.